We're in today with the RX 550. This is a 2017 video card with 4 gig of VRAM, 512 shaders. This GPU is running with 1006 MHz on the core clock and 1500 MHz on the memory clock. It's got 128 bits and we're gonna pair it up with this Intel Xeon W3690 with 6 cores and 12 threads. Let's jump in a couple of games and see how this video card and this system is holding. If we're starting with World of Tanks, you can actually see on medium details. Let me show you what I have here. I have medium details with maximum render scale. This is very important to see in the game because the video card is being utilized here on the core and the VRAM. I wanted to see how the video card is doing here because it will answer a very interesting question, the 2 gig model versus the 4 gig model. Now, if I don't pass 2 gig of VRAM, then I'm 100% sure that I can use this video card as how shall I say, as an online game, you know, with 2 gig of VRAM. Apparently it will be a very decent video card to actually play online games, you know. For instance, in World of Tanks with this video card you can clearly see maximum load on the core, only 1.7 gig of VRAM utilized here, so that is a very interesting number. It's working really nice. So in this case you can clearly see that the GPU is doing a fantastic work with 100% render scale, 70 degrees on the core of the video card. I mean, it's a very small video card and the fan itself, it's not that big, you know. Considering it doesn't utilize 12 volts external power supply, I will say this is very decent. But if we're jumping in XDefiant with this computer, with this video card, you can actually see on low details as a preset, I managed to do quite a fantastic performance here. Look at this. Oh, managed to, what did you do, fam? You can actually see it's giving me 70 FPS on average. Not good minimals, 15 minimals, but I got low details and this is not the shiniest video card on the planet, you know. So with low details, the average is good, not the minimals. So I will take this performance all day, seriously. 70 FPS, it's good. 30 minimals, 43, 1%. I mean, what do you expect from an RX 550, you know? Because of that 4 gig of VRAM, I'm very interested to see the performance. In this case, you can clearly see I got 2.6 gig of VRAM utilization, you know, so it's doing a fantastic job here, this video card. The CPU on the other hand, it doesn't have any problems. 8.1 gig of system RAM being utilized in the computer. It looks and it feels very, very good, you know. I cannot complain about this. So I will say the system is doing great. The CPU is not fully loaded. If I take a look on the CPU side, you can see the cores are being utilized. Some threads are being utilized. So all in all, everything is good with this. But if we're jumping in Counter-Strike with this system, you can actually see that in Counter-Strike is doing fantastic. 2.5 gig of VRAM utilized from the video card with nearly maximum load on the core, 55 degrees with low details. So the game is put on low details and it offers me 70 FPS on average. I'll take it. The only problem I have is the frame time. In this case, you can actually see the frame time is everywhere. Hence why I got 1 minimal and 3 on 1%. I mean, the overall performance with the system and the video card is fantastic. You know, it's utilizing the video card's performance in this case. But on the CPU side, you can clearly see that is using around 40-50% load from the CPU, from the cores, and only 7.6 gig of system RAM. I mean, the computer is doing its job. It's only utilizing 210 watts consumption. So overall, I will say this is a decent performance when it comes to this video card and the computer, you know. It's being how should I say, balanced in between, and you're doing the job in this case in order to play Counter-Strike with 1080p and low details. You can go lower on the resolution, then you will have better minimals. You can actually see it managed to average around 24, but if you go in a situation when it how should I say, when you're moving too fast like this one, see, 2 on minimal, it's spiking and it's dropping the FPS sometimes too low, like that. If we're jumping in Fortnite with this system, with this video card, you can actually see that the system is offering nearly 100 FPS on average. Not the best minimals. You can actually see there's a lot of spikes in the frame time. I like an average FPS that doesn't have this amount of spikes. I will definitely choose a better resolution if I have the opportunity in this case. On the GPU side, you can clearly see it's using maximum core load, hence why I got the problems here. 1.5 gig of VRAM, that means it's not buffing in the memory. So ideal will be either to lower the resolution or do something so I can reduce that minimals drop. If I can do that, then the game is playable. On the system side, you can clearly see it's doing a fantastic work with 30-40% load on the CPU. There's no problem with the CPU. The cores are being utilized, you know, but it's doing a decent job. Let's put it on 70%. All right, so we put it on 70% render scale, and it's still giving me 11 minimals. The core is on maximum, so there is not a lot of hope for this, only if I lower the resolution, I think. In this case, you can clearly see I get more FPS. So in this situation, I think it will be advisable if I can get VSync on in order to get better FPS. Try to reduce that stutter, you know. The overall performance in this game, it's actually fantastic. You can clearly see it's averaging pretty well. Maximum FPS with 22 on minimal, but regardless of the minimal, I think this is actually a good performance because you can actually activate 144. In my case, I have 240 Hertz monitor, so I can put this video card and the monitor to good use. In this case, it's utilizing 1.5 gig of VRAM. You can clearly see it looks okay even on low details, 1080p with low details, but I just wanted to see how it's performing like this, you know. So 215 watts because of the FPS I got here. It's utilizing the system, it's utilizing the GPU, and it's working really nice. On the system side, I got 6.3 gig, 6.2 gig of system RAM being used. It feels very snappy, it feels very good, so I cannot complain in this situation. If I do want to take a look on the CPU side and see how it's working, you can clearly see it's using some cores, some threads are reaching maximum in order to deliver this amount of FPS. Yeah, I'm very mesmerized about that 240 FPS on average, you know. So if I can get that amount of FPS and have decent FPS overall as an average, I will say thank you. So this is one of those games that actually gives me the FPS and the opportunity to use this monitor. If we're jumping in Crossout with the system on performance mode with low details, you can actually see it's doing a fantastic work. Maximum core utilization, but the average on this system with this computer in this game, it's actually fantastic, over 100 FPS. So I can say nothing here because it's doing a fantastic job. Yes, so 1.2 gig of VRAM utilization, maximum load on the core, and you can actually see it's holding pretty well on the averages, even with the minimal in some cases. Temperature on the GPU, on the other hand, is not that great, you know. It's struggling to maintain good temperature, but it's there, you know. There is an option if you're interested on better temperature to lower or use VSync in order to get temperature on check, you know, just in case. If I want to play this game, apparently this video card can actually push it. I got DisplayPort in the back, so yeah, I can actually utilize the monitor, a high refresh monitor. Until now, I get a lot of games that actually do a lot of FPS, so I can benefit from a DisplayPort cable in order to push high frequency on the monitor. But if we're jumping in Dota 2 with this on maximum details, you can actually see that the system is holding pretty well. It's working, you know. It's nearly 60 FPS. It's a big disappointment because this is my all-time favorite game to see how it's working with every GPU, seriously. In this occasion, it's doing a fantastic work. You can clearly see that it's trying to do the best. Look at that. In a fight, apparently, we are getting less FPS, 40-30 FPS. That's not okay for an average FPS for Dota, you know. If you want to play this game, apparently, you need more FPS. So in this occasion, with this amount of minimals, I will say I need to lower the quality in this occasion. Yeah, definitely it's not working really well. In this occasion, 1.8 gig of VRAM it's utilized in order to get this performance. Maximum core load, 66 degrees on the video card's core, and definitely not the best in this case. But if we're jumping in GTA 5 online with this system, you can clearly see on 1080p with normal details with 100% render scale, there is no problem on delivering the entertainment. Nearly 60 FPS, I mean 60 FPS, but the moment I drive, it will drop below 60. I don't know, maybe it's gonna work. In this case, I got 2.1 gig of VRAM with 65 degrees on the video card with nearly maximum load on the video card, but it's holding pretty well and I like it. I like how the GPU is delivering this amount of FPS on average. 37 on minimal, 53 on 1%. I would definitely like to play this online, you know, with the system. You can clearly see that the W3690 is doing a fantastic job in this case and is delivering this with 9 gig of system RAM with 40% load on the CPU. I like it. It's using nearly 230 watts consumption on average. In this case, clearly you can see that the system and video card, they are getting along in GTA 5, you know. There's some usage, you know, in the CPU side, you know. You can clearly see that the CPU is being utilized here with a couple of threads and cores, you know, but that's normal for this CPU and GTA 5 Online. I really like how the video card is performing, seriously. In this case, you can clearly see that the GPU is actually performing really well. They got DirectX 12 support. That's actually a fantastic feature if you're interested on using this on daily basis and you want to do some light gaming. I know that if you want to start DirectX 12 games, you will have a problem because the video card is not powerful, but if you are using FSR, there is a small chance on lower resolution that you can actually play the games. That's one thing positive about this. The second positive thing about this is that it doesn't require external power supply. So if you're building a computer like an OEM machine that doesn't have a lot of wattage, only with PCI Express, this video card is good. But because it's not low profile, that's a problem. Maybe we can get a low profile or something like that. It will be fantastic. It's a very slim video card, but it's a full height. That's the only problem. The question is that we managed to see today is that this is a 4 gig model and there is a 2 gig variant too. Is it worth getting that 2 gig? No. Because you managed to see today, majority of the time, half of the games were using 2.1, 2.7, 3 gig of VRAM. That's fantastic, you know, with modern games. Now, the games that they didn't use that amount of VRAM was older games, older titles that were using only 1.7 or 1.8 gig of VRAM. Yes, you can use the 2 gig model, but you're just one step close to getting that 4 gig model. And if you can get it, it's fantastic. You'll have no problems. But the 2 gig model will definitely bottleneck the GPU and it will not offer you hundreds of FPS in like I had today. You understand? And there was a lot of spikes even from the core, but if you put even 2 gig model, then everything falls apart. It felt good to test this video card today, seriously. I don't know what you think, but if you have any suggestion, leave a comment and I will see you very soon.